All right, guys, what you guys got? Do you want me to? I did the first last time I came up here. Yeah, generally pleased with the running backs. I think that's I've suffered a couple just setbacks from a couple guys, but as a group collectively, they've made plays. They've executed assignments. Needs to shore up a little bit in the pass protection world, but trending in the right direction. I think the momentum that we had from spring has carried over with those older guys, Raphael and Chunky, and then Link's come on and had a good fall camp so far, and EJ's been impressive and what we've asked him to do in terms of taking a lot of reps and showing toughness and not missing assignments like we would expect without a spring. But he's been rock solid.
You talked about the freshmen coming in, having not been here in the spring, but it almost feels like they have been. They've been making plays in fall camp so far. What have you seen from EJ and Christian?
Yeah, they took advantage of the summer, that summer window of OTAs, and kind of from day one of that had a workmanlike attitude. And Christian flashed when he was able to go, flashed early, and it was a different type of power and speed with him. And just bringing him along mentally was going to be the forefront of our mind and our goal in that room. And then EJ, he's got we're working on him, going that full speed all the time, because you see him burst and you see him be explosive. It's that smooth suddenness that he has, and just challenging him to go full speed all the time. And when he does that, he's going to be an electric player.
Did Link have any running back play in his history?
No, Link's background is a lot of things, but not running back. Recruited him out of JUCO. He started at JUCO as safety, and then obviously transitioned year two as a receiver, and then recruited him as a receiver. But you hate to make just kind of blind comparisons, but he's got a lot of that, like Cordero Patterson in him. That reference of big body, fast, and you saw flashes in the spring. I think what he's gotten so much better at so far is the vision and a little bit of that patience. And both of those things can improve, but he's been. He's the guy who's hit 21.5 miles per hour, just big and fast, and he really, really wants to be good. He's got 1 year left here, and he does so many things on special teams for us, and he's just really clamoring to get an offensive role, and he's definitely put himself in the conversation for that.
And then, do you coach McFall at all now, or is
So yeah, well, I don't want to get into too much of that. He's going to do what he did last year for us, and so he's taking a lot of running back reps this week. He took a lot of receiver reps in the spring and early in camp, and just getting him to where he can do it all. And so we got to expose him to it all. He was in my room this morning, but he's so smart that I almost feel bad sometimes because we move him around a lot. But he enjoys the challenge, and mentally he's able to do it. If he wasn't able to mentally handle it, then we wouldn't do that for him, and we're with him. So it gets him on the field more. You know what I mean? To be able to back up Miz, and then to be able to spot at running back and do some things in the touch game, it's a perfect role for him.
a lot of the guys bring up Chunky when they ask, you get asked, who's going to surprise or break out or whatever. What is it about him that inspires like widespread confidence?
Just how he is with the ball in his hands, just the power that he brings, and really, really elite contact balance. There's some times where it looks like a scrum on film, and the dude somehow stays up and is able to continue to get yards. And yards after contact's really what we're teaching and preaching in that room. Our standard and our motto and our mantra in the running back room this year is YOE, yards over expected. You see guys in the league getting big time contracts at running back. One of the main stats analytically is yards over expected. So we have to get more than what the offensive line, the tight end, and what they're covering up, what that provides. And so Kendrick, excuse me, and Chunky, that's got to be their MO. And I think Mustang fans will see that.
When you guys went and got Kendrick, has he been as advertised for you guys and what he's been able to do on the field?
I would say plus. I would say he's been as advertised plus, and the plus is what he provides in that room. You can kind of brazenly say that a guy's a leader in the room, and that might mean it or might not. But this dude is, if myself or Coach McHugh don't say it out loud, he's going to get on their butts from anywhere from chunky down the line to the freshman. He is a true third coach on the field for a quiet guy, kind of a reserved guy, a little bit who's kind of uncomfortable in a team setting. If he was to get in front of the team, and he'd be the first to admit that, he is elite, coaching those guys and leading those guys. And he's a leader. He's a leader in our offense. One of those guys that's a leader in offense. So that's the plus. On the field, it's everything that we saw in the film, and then in the spring, he's a true three down back. He really doesn't have a weakness in his game. It's just my job is just to continue to increase the skills in all areas. You know what I mean? See what he sees in the run game, and then work off him. And what he statistically lacked at Cal last year was explosive plays. I think he had one over 35 yards. I have zero concerns about that. I think he's going to be a very explosive player for us.
You see the depth and talent, the competition in your room, and then you also look around and you see the wide receivers and your tight ends. Is there a feeling like to lean on the run game early and just kind of let those guys get comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal each year offensively is to be a run-first team and have everything work off of that. And so if we can lean on the run game, we can gain yards. We can be in that 2nd and 6 situation instead of 2nd and 10. That's going to be generally successful for the rest of our offense, and let Kevin and those guys not, have to draw back, a bunch of the game. So, it's lean on the run game and see what we can get, and then the running backs obviously have a huge role in that. So.
I guess too, just what have you seen from the offensive line? Some returning guys, but also some young guys. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, I think Coach Justice does a heck of a job each year of getting those guys working as a collective unit, and I think they did a great job last year and the year before in terms of just covering guys up. I don't know statistically what we were on the top of my head in terms of negative plays, but we want to stay out of negative plays, and if those guys can cover them up, we're going to gain yards. And so, finding our 5 and rolling with those 5 and getting that depth that, adds up to 10 guys that can play in games. He's going to do that. Coach Justice is going to do that. He's done that every year. So, but yeah, those guys, I feel the leadership more from that unit with Bates and PJ and Addison's kind of those 3 older guys that, they're going to be, it's a little different than the last couple of years because those guys have played a lot of ball. Chambly too, so. Yeah, I think we would hope that. I think if you ask these 2 guys who are about to come talk to you, if what's your goal at the end of the game, it's to have the ball in my hands, and that's any running back's dream to walk off against Miami. And there are guys who want that moment. I know that, and so building off what we've done the last couple of years since I've been the running backs coach is our goal to continue to get better. And the faces have changed a little bit, but the mantra and the identity needs to be the same, that we can be relied on, and that we're going to be tough and we're going to be physical and have the ability to be trusted.
It's like how's fall camp been going for you?
It's been great. Just everything to it. Just bonding with my guys, with the team, building connections with Ty, Kevin. Just learning the offense, getting glued to the system. It's been great.
After the spring and heading into fall camp, where did you want to grow your game the most?
I just want to get sharper and just the little details, finding the little details. Just being explosive throughout the whole. Making usually 12-yard games to 50, 60. Breaking out. I feel like that's what my game is missing right now.
How different is the system here, and how much of a learning curve that you have?
It's very different, very different. Well, you got to think fast. You got to know what you're doing because the tempo that we run on our offense is very different than previous offense I've been in. So, just getting adapted to the tempo and just having your eyes ready, looking at the defense, looking at safeties, and just all that.
What have you seen from the offensive line in the spring, and also on that, how enjoyable has it been to run behind?
It's very enjoyable. Just running behind Bates. Just following TJ, Alex, Addison. It's been so great. Just with those guys, they're gonna make my job way easier. And I'm very grateful for them. And I feel like this is the right offense, right fit for me as well.
You've been a workhorse in the past. Are you excited about the chance to kind of have, a little bit of a shared role in a sense?
Yes, it's gonna take a lot of just it's gonna take a lot of wear and tear from me. I got a great mate, Chunky. I have Chunky right there, right next to me, so I won't have to take it every rep. 700 plus snaps this season. Well, he'll be right there, and it's gonna prepare me for the next level. Just my body will be way fresher than taking all those snaps.
Coach Cooper talked about how you kind of brought your leadership with you and have grown as a leader since you've gotten to SMU as well. You've got some young guys in the room. What has it been like kind of mentoring the couple of new freshmen, and then how do you feel like your leadership has grown?
It's grown a lot. It's just showing the younger guys the way. I mean, at a time I was just like them. I see myself chunky. Like I see like everything that they done, and I'm just critiquing and finding ways for them to get better and just learn from my mistakes to put onto them. Just so they could be better.
Anything else? All right. How's fall camp been for you so far?
It's been good. From the spring, like I said, I wanted to get more used to the plays, more comfortable, so I could really just play like myself again, honestly. For fall camp, it's been way better. I feel like I'm being able to play more comfortable like myself.
What have you seen from Ty? Obviously, Kev got banged up, but he did okay. But what have you seen from him that's gotten these reps?
With Kev having to sit out for a minute, I've seen that Ty stepped up into a role. He took he took a big part in our team, and he started to just fulfill that role like he needed to. He didn't crack under the pressure. I don't want to say not too much pressure, but he came in, did what he was supposed to do, stepped up how he's supposed to. He's being a leader, talking, communicating, stuff like that. So from him, I've seen a big improvement from just me knowing him coming in and where his mind's been with the team. So I'll say that for sure for Ty.
Obviously, last year you didn't get the games or reps you wanted, but what did you learn last year that makes you better right now here?
Last year I learned, like, I'll say from high school. Of course, every high school player thinks they're gonna come in and just play their position to be the starter. But last year, from sitting out, I learned that there's a lot more to the game, and there's levels to stuff that you have to learn. There's not just, you just can't, some things you can't just go out there and just do and just free will. Some stuff has a lot of detail that goes into it that sometimes it might not get you the ball or for that instance, but with you doing that, it might help or open someone else. So me being able to learn that and now being able to be like, okay, I have to execute this without thinking about myself. I'll say I learned that a lot from last year sitting out.
And although you didn't play as much as you wanted to coming into this year, even though it's only your second year, you're one of the guys with the most amount of experience at SMU running back room. Do you feel like you've been able to help the new guys kind of adjust to the offense?
Kinda in a sense. I'll say, like, for instance, with the new freshmen and stuff, like Christian and EJ, they text me every now and then, ask me stuff, but like anything that I can help them with that they feel they need help with that I know that's correct, I'll for sure, help them out, stuff like that. Me and Zoe talk all the time about just like, small plays, stuff that could be better, small details in between plays and stuff like that. So we always, just pick off each other and to help each other get better.